Alrighty, good evening everyone. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedules to come to DuePoint's head office this evening. Our format that we have tonight is something we call Throwdown Thursday. So this is your first Throwdown Thursday. It's a change in our normal format. Typically when we give an intro presentation, it's just one of us on stage speaking to everybody, but this evening it's going to be Brendan and myself. You can see I'm clearly taller than Brendan, a little more rugged and perhaps a little more handsome. My challenge this evening is to get through the presentation, my part of the presentation, in 30 minutes. I normally take about 50 minutes, so this is going to be challenging for me. But once I get through my part of the presentation where we're going to be discussing the benefits of this business, Brendan is going to come up and he's going to elaborate on what everyone is thinking, right? A lot of the perceptions that we have about starting, getting involved in a business like this, and hopefully he'll answer a lot of those questions that you have. Alrighty, shall we begin? Yeah. Okay. So, the facts versus perception. Okay, this is what we're going to try to address this evening. DuePoint, you're in our head office. We are actually a division of another business called Constantia Insurance Company Limited. That's their logo in the bottom right corner there, their little orange logo. Constantia has been around for a very long time, almost 70 years. They were founded in 1952. They are a registered insurance business in South Africa. There aren't a lot of registered insurance businesses, so it's important for you guys to understand who you're potentially going to be getting into business with and trust that relationship, right? That's very important. It's a very important aspect of doing business with anyone. This is the FSP number that we operate under. You'll see our licenses are on display above the water cooler in the foyer. We've got a long-term insurance license, a short-term insurance license, as well as an investment license. Okay. You guys need to know you're dealing with a very reputable, well-founded business. You can go Google the business. You can go look at the people that are involved in the business. Someone's alarm is going off. The people involved in DuePoint, this is the executive and the management team here at DuePoint. The three characters on the left are all chartered accountants. Can you see how they stand out? Look at them. Ignoring Jane and I, we're the non-accountants on the far right. Here's Brendan. You would have seen Brendan wafting around. He's going to be taking over the second part of the presentation. He is our head executive. He's got a lot of experience in financial services, particularly within insurance, because his father founded Clientele Life. His father's a professor of insurance and has been for the last 50 years or something ridiculous. And Brendan and his brother started Prime Meridian Direct, which is a very successful short-term insurer based down the road. So they've been involved in insurance for all their lives. I always tease him and his brother and say they've probably got insurance policies as birthday presents from their dad. We've got Tim over here. Tim's working the TriCaster over there that's sending the stream out to the rest of the country. Tim comes to us from the First Rand Group, where he worked beneath the CEO of First Rand, a very large banking group. We've got Stacey, the best looking out of all the management and executive team, not only because she's the youngest, but she controls all the finances in the business. A lot of experience in financial services. We were working at Deloitte in Europe, in Luxembourg, before she came back to South Africa. We were able to convince her to come join us at DuePoint. And then the two non-accountants. We've got Jane, the smile of DuePoint, always welcoming everyone that comes to our office. She's got a lot of experience in direct marketing and direct selling. She comes from York in the UK, so if you speak to her, she'll notice she's got a very heavy Yorkshire accent that she hasn't lost in the 10 years that she's been in South Africa. And then you have me, like I said, tallest and best looking out of everybody, right? Don't listen to what Brendan tells you when he comes up onto the stage. But I come to you from marketing and advertising. I started a digital agency about 20 years ago. I ran that fairly successfully before I decided to come join the guys at DuePoint. So very diverse team, very different set of skill sets, but particularly, specifically brought together by Brendan to make DuePoint as successful as possible. And our number one task here is to support the wealth engineers, the guests. So if you become wealth engineers, our mandate is to support you so that you guys can be as successful as possible. Our business can only be successful if our wealth engineers are successful. Okay. So why are you here? What is the premise of you being here? Some of you might have been dragged along, some of you might have come with a smile on your face, but the premise is the financial opportunity, isn't it? I would assume all the guests here, I know the wealth engineers here are here to make money. The guests here, I assume you're here to make money, right? That's the premise. We take a step back and we look at what the requirement is. Why is there this need, this interest in financial opportunity? We only need to open the newspapers or listen to the radio to understand there are a number of factors affecting general population of South Africa. One is the economy, something that is beyond our control, right? I'm not going to elaborate on the economy, but we all know, unless you've had your head stuck in the ground, that we are going through trying times, okay? Even South Africa as a whole also affected by what's happening globally in the economy. Very much on the tail end of what happens, and again, not a lot of control over what's going on. So we all have our different pain in our life from a financial perspective. I don't need to go over that. We all know why we would like to make more money, okay? One aspect we have control over is debt, and debt is afforded to you typically the moment you first started earning a salary. So if you can think that far back, that small paycheck that you got once upon a time was typically paid into a bank account. And when that happened, the bank saw you as a potential client that they could sell products and services to. Those products and services take on the form of debt instruments and savings and investments. So typical debt instruments that South Africans take on: credit cards. We need at least 6 credit cards just in case, as general South Africans, right? Your car, it's great to have your own car, right? You can get around in your own. So a lot of South Africans got cars, got about 10 million cars on the road, of which only about a third are insured. And then home loans. A home loan, typically a 20-year term that you have with the bank. So these are typical debt instruments that South Africans engage in. And the stats that we get from the FSB tell us that the average South African spends about 50% of their salary repaying debt. Okay, so you get your salary, half of it goes to the credit cards, the home loan, the car repayments, maybe clothing accounts, personal loans, education loans. And that 50% that's left over is then subject to a whole bunch of other draws, the cost of living, right? The money that you're putting aside for your retirement, sending kids to school, groceries that are increasing at 11% a year, which means the price of groceries is doubling every 7 years. That's the current rate of inflation. All the other draws, holidays. South Africans like to take holidays, so we need to spend money on holidays. So we've got a plethora of costs that are subject to that 50% left over after repaying debt. And more statistics that we get from the FSB, it says that average South African only starts saving when they get to their 50s. Now, why on earth is that? Let's look at some data that we got from Fin24. This was frightening. Tim was kind enough to mail this to me a couple of weeks ago. And what does it tell us? It tells a story about retirement planning. Okay? So if you want to retire at 65, because you've got to be really rich to retire any earlier, unless you get put onto a forced retrenchment, which happens fairly often. But you want to retire at 65, you need to save 10 times your annual income. That has to be a liquid asset. This has to be invested where you're earning money from the interest that you're earning on that amount of money. And how much is that? So these are different figures. You want to retire and earn 5,000 Rand a month. If that's what you need to get by every month, 5,000 Rand, you need to have saved R1 million to last you from typically the age of 65 to about 95. The current mortality rate in South Africa for women, because they outlive the men, is about 74 years of age at the moment. But everyone in the room, our mortality rate is probably around 80 years old. And kids being born today, their mortality rate is going to be in excess of 100 years, right? So retirement in the past used to only kind of plan for people living 10, 20 years past retirement. Now we need to make provision for living 30 years, okay? So if you want to retire with 26,000 Rand a month, you need to have saved 5 million Rand. 50,000 Rand a month, you need to have put away 10 million Rand by the time you're ready to retire. So if we have any youngsters in the room, if you're around 25 years of age, you can start saving now. Start putting away 8,000 Rand a month for the next 40 years, and you'll be in that comfortable position to retire and earn that 52,000 Rand a month. Guys, this is not a practical solution. I'm not showing you this because this is the solution. This is not the solution. It's very impractical. If you look at our economy, you look at retrenchments that are happening, how realistic is it that your employer is going to get you to that point where you don't lose your job in the next 40 years, where you're able to consistently put away this kind of money every month so that you can retire comfortably? We know this isn't realistic because another stat that we get, only 98%, or should I say only 2% of the market of South Africa is retiring financially independent. The other 98% are dependent on who? Who they're dependent on? Exactly, children. So now you're going through life trying to save for your retirement, and suddenly you have to now support your parents, right? Or you have to downgrade your lifestyle to such an extent that you can afford whatever you're making once you retire. So this is not the solution. Out of this, a solution was born, the Dewpoint system. So about a year ago, we saw this need, this requirement for the average South African to create an additional income stream for themselves. This is the answer. Not desperately saving and depending on your employer to get you there, because that's not going to happen. So the Dewpoint system was born, and we have 3 aspirations for our wealth engineers. The first aspiration, we want to see our wealth engineers become debt-free, completely debt-free. Can you imagine becoming debt-free? No debit orders going off in the month. 100% of your income is left for whatever you want to spend it on. The second aspiration that we have for our wealth engineers is to start investing in something that you guys own, to have ownership over an investment that grows in value every month. And when those 2 things happen, the third aspiration, the third goal for our wealth engineers happens all on its own. And that's we want our wealth engineers to connect with their dreams and aspirations that perhaps you once had as a younger person, as a younger adult. And that might sound quite fickle, right? Because I think when you get close to my age, you don't really think about dreams and aspirations. They almost become like fantasies. You've got real problems. Welcome to the real world. I've got bills to pay. I've got my kids to worry about. I've got all of this accountability in my life. So for our wealth engineers, if you actually get to the point where you're completely debt-free and you're creating value and investment that you own that grows every month, I promise you, you will reconnect with whatever dreams and aspirations you had, because you will be free of all that financial pressure that you typically have every month, and now you're suddenly free to decide what you want to do with all your money. Are you going to invest more of it? Are you going to help your parents, help your children? You're free now to make those decisions. So the Dewpoint system, this is how it works. Our guests here this evening, if you decide to join Dewpoint, you actually contract with us as wealth engineers. So we call you wealth engineers. And as wealth engineers, we want you to do one thing. That one thing is to go out and build channels of duplication. Okay? Channels of distribution, sorry. That's the one thing we want you to do. And into those channels of distribution, Dewpoint, Constantia, will sell its products. That's basically how the system works. The benefits thereof are the additional income stream, right? This is the only way you're going to pay that debt off faster than you currently are, is if you create a second income stream. It is not for desperate people. A new business opportunity like this that promises to create a second income stream is a clever decision. It is not for desperate people or unemployed people. The nature of our business allows you to create a recurring income stream. My father always said to me from a young age, he said, if you can get into a business that pays you while you are sleeping, you are onto a really good business. This business gives you that opportunity. This is a recurring income stream. What do I mean by that? It creates residual value for you. So the effort you put in 1 month is not just going to pay you at the end of that month and that's it. It keeps paying you, right? So the business I was in before created no residual income. We had developers and designers working for us, a couple of account managers. Every month we would go out and have to chase the same amount of business that we did the previous month. We could rely on no recurring income stream. So at the end of the month, we started at zero. This business is not that. The effort you put in 1 month will pay you in a recurring fashion. Okay, very important benefit. The next one, the power of duplication. This is leverage. Those channels of distribution that I spoke of. This is the potential of you guys going out and building teams that you're able to collaborate with. So if you only have 2 hours that you can afford every week, if you go out and build a channel that's got another 10 people in, that can only afford 2 hours a week, that's suddenly 20 extra hours that you now have collaborating together towards your own financial benefit. This is how CEOs get rich. The CEO and the post office worker have the same amount of hours in the day. They have the same amount of hours. The only difference is that the CEO is leveraging his employees, right? This business gives you the same opportunity to leverage that channel of distribution that you build for your benefit. Completely flexible in terms of time. It's not a part-time business. Part-time business expects you to get you at a time and leave at a time. This is an anytime business. You're accountable to yourselves. Whatever works for you, you can use. No startup capital. This is a risk-free business endeavor. We're not going to ask you to buy 10,000 rands worth of stock to get involved in this business. There's no startup fee. There's no annual contract that you're not going to be able to get out of. It's a very low-risk opportunity that you get to engage in. No qualifications or experience required. Why is that important? Because we work within financial services, an extremely onerous industry to work within. When the FASE Act came out in 2002, it put about 80,000 independent brokers out of business because they chose not to do business in financial services anymore because it was just too difficult. Too difficult. So when I joined, Brendan dropped the bombshell on me that I had to go do FASE and regulatory exams. I'm in marketing and advertising. I don't want to be studying accounting stuff or legislation, but I'm doing it anyway. I want that bonus at the end of the year. You guys don't need to do any of that. And you can still reap the benefit of being involved with a business that is in financial services. You get to build an asset that you have ownership over. It is treated as a legal asset. What does that mean? It means you can put it into your family trust. You can sell it to someone. You can cede it to your beneficiaries if something happened to you. When you're 95 and you can't build these channels of distribution anymore, you can hand the business over to your kids. Okay? It is treated as a legal asset. There is no selling involved. Aren't you relieved? You should be. Brendan will tell all of you that you're very bad at selling, right? Leave the selling to us. There's no selling involved, guys. The nature of our business means there's no stock or distribution involved. I said you're not going to be buying any product here when you join. That's a great thing. We have financial products. They're intangible. So it doesn't mean you have to come pick up 500 milkshakes and 1,000 energy drinks because this weekend you're going to pump it. And you get your bucky and you come load up all the stock and then you have a bit of a slow month and then you realize the energy drinks are expiring next month. And your spouse has been moaning about the space it takes up in your garage. Right? These are aspects you do not need to worry about. We've got systems in place that do all the debit, all the collections on our behalf. Right? So again, we make this business as easy and as convenient and as simple to get involved with as possible. What are the channels of distribution? They begin with you. That's you in the center there. And after this presentation, you decide you're going to go for it and you go speak to some of your friends and family. And when you're able to extend this opportunity that DuePoint is to them and they're interested and we're able to place a product with those individuals, that is the beginning of your channel of distribution. When we speak about leverage, this is the power of duplication happening, right? How much time and effort did it take to introduce the first 5 individuals? This is the beginning of you building a team that collaborates with you because those individuals are going to go out and do the same thing. And after time, this is potentially what your channel could look like. You could have Jay-Z in the corner there. You wouldn't even know it, and you'd be earning a return from him. Right? So this is the potential of the power of duplication, guys. This is how you create a fortune, by leveraging relationships. Okay. Here's my favorite slide, my disclaimer slide. Take a careful look at the beautiful ballerina's feet in the bottom right corner there. We all have a friend that's got a nice new car, has got a nice house. Everything seems to be going swimmingly for him, and we think, how lucky is that guy? Reality check, guys. It might look like the pretty wrapped up ballet pump on the right, but if you get involved in any business opportunity, it requires the foot that you see on the left. It requires all the persistence, getting through all the frustration, getting over all the hurdles, getting past those points where you want to give up to get to what the foot looks like on the left. So to become a professional dancer, maybe you've got to spend 10,000 hours practicing. Yeah. If you want to be successful in business, how much time do you have to commit to it? Do you have expectations in the first week, the first month, the first few months? And when there's a little bit of frustration, do you give up? I can tell you the majority of people do. So this is our disclaimer slide. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme, guys. This is an authentic business opportunity that everyone has the opportunity to engage in. And I ask you to set your sights out on a year, 3 years, 5 years, your expectation of where you want the business to get you. Because if you set your sights on that horizon, you're not going to get frustrated in the first few months when things don't go your way. You still got to get through that learning curve. Okay, let's talk about the money. This is how we pay our wealth engineers. Returns. We pay a base return of R27.50 for every product we're able to place in your channel. That is subject to where those products lie in relation to you. So remember the first 5 friends that you got to join DuePoint and we placed a product with them? They lie on your first point. These are people that you personally know. They're 1 point away from you. And if you look at the table, on point 1, we pay you R55 for every product. But remember, it's recurring income. So this is not a once-off amount. This is an amount that we pay you every month. Okay? Your friends go out and do the same thing. These are individuals that lie on your second point. These are friends of friends, acquaintances of acquaintances, colleagues of colleagues. Okay? On point 2, again, we pay you R55 for every product every month going forward. Point 3, point 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way down to the 8th point. At the 8th point, that multiplier drops to 4%. But what to take note of is that we do not limit you there. So from the 8th point, in theory to infinity, we will keep paying you for every product that you have in your channel. We don't limit you on how big your channel can get, and we don't limit you on how much you can earn with DuePoint. So if you're here for the next 10 years, how big is your channel going to be? Right? There's no cap on how much you can earn at DuePoint. So this is the mechanics of the returns. What we did with those very exciting accountants on slide 3 was we asked them to come up with a growth formula to give you guys an idea of how much money you could be earning with time. Okay? So what we did was we came up with a formula called the 3+2 formula. It assumes that in your first month you can add 3 people into your business. And then every consecutive month we only expect you to put in 2. The 3+2, right? Every consecutive month thereafter it's just 2. 1 every 2 weeks. If you can do that and duplicate that into your channel, and we've taken into consideration all the fall-off that we have as a financial service provider, people that cancel, people that don't build, taken into consideration, these are the numbers you can expect. So after a short 6 months, you could be at R2,500 a month. Now off the bat, some people might think, well, gee, 6 months of work for R2,500. I know people that charge that in a couple of hours. Is that even worthwhile? For some of us, if you are squeezed at the end of the month, R2,500 makes a significant difference. Okay? But let me give you a little more context for that small R2,500. Let's look at the debt that the majority of us have in our lives. So here's an example of a R1 million bond. You're typically paying about 11,000, 12,000 Rand a month to repay that bond over a period of 20 years. You decide to take the R2,500 and put it into the bond. What effect is it going to have on your life? You're going to pay that bond off in less than 12 years. So instead of 20 years, you pay it now off in 11.6 years. Do you know how much money that 2,500 rand has saved you in the long term? It's going to save you R1,000,000 in repayments. R1,000,000 on R1,000,000 bond. Can you see how much money the bank is making? Okay? And if you keep going, after 12 months, you could be on 9,000, 10,000 rand a month. That's over 100,000 rand for the year. How many of us are going to get a bonus from our employers for 100,000 rand? Very few of us. And you keep going, after 24 months, you could be on nearly 30,000 rand a month. Now that is a significant amount of money. What difference does that make in your life? Your spouse or you could stop working at that stage, right? 24 months. After 36 months, nearly 50,000 rand a month. Let's take a look at a bond example again. Here we have a 5 million rand bond. You decide to put, you're probably earning about 35,000, 36,000 rand a month. You decide to put that into the bond. You will pay this bond off in less than 7 years. So I've just turned 40. Hallelujah. I have got 20 years left until early retirement, right? 20 years. Let's call it 21 years. I'll retire at 61. In 21 years, I could pay off 3 properties to the value of 5 million rand, right? If I was earning this from DuePoint and I put all that money into bonds, into property investment, by the time I'm ready to retire, I own 3 properties to the value of 5 million rand each. So maybe I'm living in the one and I rent out the other 2. I'm earning about 25,000 rand per property. That's 50,000 rand a month in passive income that I now have at retirement. This is what we want for our wealth engineers. Pay your debt off first as quickly as possible and then start investing it. And we keep going. After 48 months, you're probably on close to 70,000 rand a month. And after a short 60 months, you're earning about R1,000,000 rand a year. Guys, if you give up after month 3, you're not going to get anywhere near this, right? This is why I say, set your sights, your goals out there. I don't want perceptions or expectations for this business in the first few months. You will just frustrate yourselves. But a short 60 months, I love to use the example of the Olympians. They've just finished the Olympics. I can promise you now, majority of those individuals are training for the next Olympics already. I knew one of the Olympic rowers. He gave himself about 2 weeks holiday every year. The rest of the year, he worked. Rowing, 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 rowing. Diet, exercise. He would come to parties with his own brown rice and something else. And that's what he would eat at the parties. Right? That was the commitment. Can you commit to a business opportunity for a short 60 months? Most businesses are happy if they're making profit after 60 months. So you might think, well, this is all still theory. But we have wealth engineers that are doing more than 3 plus 2. The 3 plus 2 formula was purely an example. Purely an example. You can do more than 3 plus 2. We've got wealth engineers doing way more. So here we have Loki. He's been with us for 10 minutes. He joined in September. We projected everyone on 3 plus 2 to be at 2,500 rand after 6 months. Loki's already at 1,200 rand. So again, the accountability lies with the wealth engineer. You guys decide how much time you want to commit to this. What do you need out the business? We've got so-so. 3,200 rand a month already. When did she join? End of July. End of July. Committed. Nursery school teacher. There's nothing special about these individuals. We're not talking about doctors in human psychology that is convincing people to join DuePoint. These are normal people that we meet every day. It really just comes down to your desire to change your circumstance. For Yasile down in Durban, 6,000 rand a month already. 72,000 rand a year extra, more than he was receiving last year. Donnie, he's with us this evening. what's that, nearly 150,000 Rand a year in 8 months. Guys, it's up to you. Like I said, we do not limit you on how big your channel can be and how much you can earn with DuePoint. It is completely up to you. We provide everything on a platter almost for you guys to engage with this business and make it a significant change in your life. And we've got hundreds of wealth engineers earning with DuePoint already, over and above what they're earning from their employers. That is not the only way to earn with DuePoint. Those were all the returns. That's what we pay our wealth engineers at the end of every month. We have something called the XP Rewards program. This is like an incentive program. So you're probably all aware of incentives at work, right? The boss says to you, do so many sales by the end of the month or by the end of the financial year, and I will give you 1,000 Rand bonus. We have an incentive program, the XP Rewards program. These little items floating past are tasks or quests, which is just made up of typical behavior that a wealth engineer would be engaging in. So the first one is really simple. Log into our website, and you get 25 XP, experience points. And as you engage with each of these quests, we give you XP. And the more XP that you earn, and the greater your channel becomes, we reward you. Cash rewards and tools that help you become more effective at building your channels. Okay? So they're incentives. So here's the entire XP Rewards table. So if you join this evening, you will be a rank 0 wealth engineer. And there are 2 criteria, like I said. Accumulate points. Your channel starts to grow. And as you start to reach these milestones, you rank up. Okay? You can get to rank 1 quite easily within a few days. We give you a 55 Rand reward. So they start out fairly small. You can go have a cappuccino and celebrate. Right? Small beginnings. Small beginnings. But believe me, they get bigger. The longer you are with DuePoint, the more successful you are with DuePoint, you will get rewarded accordingly. So here we have, at rank 5, Patrick and Pumi, with a lightning memory stick. The beauty of this memory stick is that it plugs into any device. Computers, laptops, cell phones, tablets, whether they're Android or Apple, it doesn't matter. This little device plugs into everything. More importantly, we've got all our collateral on this little device. All our training, all the presentations, everything, so that you can show people what the DuePoint opportunity is anywhere at any time. Okay? These are tools to make you more effective at building these channels of distribution. At rank 7, these are business cards Donnie got earlier in the year. Like Brendan likes to say, the Rolls Royce of business cards. I've been in advertising a very long time. We all like to think we're quite flashy in advertising. I promise you, if you pull out one of these business cards and you happen to be standing around a table, let's say with the CEO of Anglo and the CEO of Eskom, guess whose business card is going to look more impressive? Yours, right? Because these cost us 12,500 Rand a set. They are foiled in gold, they are wrapped in gold, and they're 4 times thicker than any business card. They make an impression so that people take you seriously and they're curious to know, who is DuePoint, what do you do for them? Again, tools to make you more effective in this business. At rank 9, we have a very exciting reward. All those other rewards you saw are once-offs. The 55 Rands are once-off. You've got to get to the next rank to get to the next reward. But when you get to rank 9, you get to celebrate this reward every single year. Business class tickets to a 5-star resort for you and your family every single year. You don't need to check your bank balance. You don't need to have a family meeting with your spouse to see where you can go overseas on a holiday. The only thing you need to do is make sure you're able to get the leave. That's all you have to do. All expenses paid trip on DuePoint. Would you like to see where we're going next year? Because this is available to everyone. Let's have a look.
sun where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace. Cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
Yeah, will you? Will you? Available to everyone. There's no time limit on the incentive program, on the XP rewards. Take as long as you want or as short as you want. At rank 11, a brand new car. No terms and conditions. We buy it cash, we give it to you. No DuePoint stickers, and it doesn't have a debit order at the end of the month. And then a sweetener, Ironman, which is Easter weekend next year. Again, opportunity for our wealth engineers to put 350 products in before the end of January, and we'll take you away. Again, business class tickets down to Franschhoek in the Cape, 5-star boutique hotel, an awesome itinerary for the kids as well as us parents. Just more opportunity. Okay, we get a couple of questions. How on earth can we afford all these things for our wealth engineers? It's very simple. Traditional business engages with marketing and advertising. We all accept that. You will not see a DuePoint logo outside of this building. We don't do any marketing. We don't do any advertising. We rely solely on the wealth engineers, word of mouth, to tell people about the DuePoint opportunity. So instead of spending the billions that the insurance industry has spent on marketing and advertising, that portion of the premium allocated to that gets put into returns and rewards for you guys, for our wealth engineers. Okay. You might be thinking what the products are. We know it's not energy drinks. We know it's not milkshakes. We know it doesn't take up space in the garage. We have 3 products. They've been designed to work together. They speak to the issues that we each have in our lives, the financial issues typically. So the benefits speak to those issues. The first product is Access Wealth. It is an investment product, 274 Rand a month, of which we invest 100 Rand on your behalf into a tax-free investment fund. On top of that, you get 100,000 Rand personal accident cover. Okay? This is the first product, an investment product. The second product, Wealth Guard. This is 249 Rand a month, but this time you get 1 million Rands worth of personal accident cover. The beauty of our personal accident cover on both products is that it's accessible to anyone over the age of 18. So regardless of your status of health, regardless of your age, the premium is still $249 and you still get the full amount of cover. Okay? The third product is Wealth Points. This tackles the issue from a different perspective. We're all spending money every month. This product allows you to save money on that monthly spend. So it's $249, of which 100 Rand is retained and put into an e-wallet that you have access to. And when you join the Wealth Points program, you get access to this list of suppliers over here. This list is growing all the time. We have gone out and negotiated discounts with these suppliers that you typically would never get on your own. Okay? If you're looking for immediate value out of any of the products, this is the product to have, because you'll be saving immediately on the spend that you have every month. So those are the three products. You can take one, two, or all three. They've got very different benefits. So if you decide to join this evening, you need to be reminded that we have a very strong support structure in this business. Like I said, the individuals I introduced to you at the beginning of the presentation, we are here to support our wealth engineers. We are only successful if you guys are successful. The facilities that we've spent and invested a lot of money on are for our wealth engineers. We've constantly got guys coming in having their business meetings in our meeting rooms, using the auditorium for presentations. We've got the breakout rooms that are available. We've got free Wi-Fi, free tea and coffee, if that makes any difference in your life, right? We live stream everything. Everything is available online. We are very much a modern technology business, all for our wealth engineers. And on that note, I'm going to invite Brendan up, he's almost like our savant in the business. He knows what everyone's thinking, and he's going to be answering a lot of the questions that you probably have in your minds. Okay.
Thank you very much, Rob.
There you go.
There we go. I have a fear that wakes me up at night that one day I'll have a slow jog up here and I'll just clip the edge of the stage and I'll be sprawled across here. I fear it because the thing that makes me the most nervous is how I land on the stage. Folks, we believe that we have created the 21st century direct selling company here at DuePoint. As Rob said, we're a division of Constantia. Constantia is moving itself into the 21st century, and we're doing it with what you've seen tonight. We reckon, as we look at ourselves now, and we do a lot of research, and we've been involved in this market for a long time, that you cannot find a better genuine income earning opportunity than the one that we've created here. We're, as Rob says, just in a situation these days where we don't have the luxury of picking between options. We just don't have that anymore. Our certainty has been removed from us, completely removed from us. I mean, it's ridiculous that every day we open the newspaper and there is a major political or economic event in our country. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Where are we living that they can write history books just on each year at South Africa? I mean, it's just great. I just saw this beautiful little meme that got sent to me where it says the history teacher is teaching their class in the year 2100. And it says, well, we've just finished 2015, we'll move on to 2017. And the student says, well, what about 2016? And the teacher says, we don't talk about 2016. Folks, that's what's happening in the world that we live in right now. But I know that naturally, because of the environment we come from, we have concerns and we have reservations about everything that we hear. We have seen too many fringe direct selling companies arrive in South Africa, steal people's money, and run away. That's not who we are, and I want to run through some of those concerns with you, that by the time you leave this room, they're gone. We want clarity and foresight from people that come through this business. We want you making clear lifetime decisions in these few moments that you spend with us here at DuePoint. So I'm going to run through 8 things that we know is in all your minds tonight. They're not all 8 are not in all of your minds, but these are the 8 things that all of you are thinking. If you come up with something more than that, let me know afterwards. I'd love to know it. But in all the time we've been doing this, this is the 8 things that you think after you've seen a presentation like this. This is the first one. That's the first one. It was beautiful. We had this on the radio last night. Someone who is highly educated, well-known, and very experienced in his market, extending himself into the market of direct selling by making a comment that we're all pyramid schemes. Now, folks, it's something that's very, very definitive that you need to do going forward just before you make this announcement. This announcement is, in fact, defined in legislation. A pyramid scheme is defined in the Consumer Protection Act. And a pyramid scheme is very simple for you to identify. We call it the sniff test. The sniff test smells like a pyramid scheme. This is how you do it going forward. The first thing is, a pyramid scheme always guarantees and promises you things that are not real. The entire time that Rob has been doing this presentation, he has told you, you will not earn anything if you do not do any work with the Dewpoint system. There is no guarantee of any success for you. If you don't use the tool we have created, you get nothing out of it. That's quite simple. That's the first thing. So when you hear someone say, I'll get you 30% a month, even 10% a month, which is impossible, you know that's your first sniff test fail. It's a pyramid scheme. The second thing is they ask for large amounts of money from you. You might have noticed the lack of bags being handed up and down the aisles here. There are no credit card machines waiting for you outside. No money will part from you this evening. There is absolutely no money. It's a free benefit of Constantia's products to be a wealth engineer. You pay nothing for it. Not tonight, not any month going forward. There is no loss to you in this process. That's the second sniff test. Are they asking for large amounts of money? The third one is, do they actually exist? This is a big thing. We have some Russian criminal on Skype starting a company in South Africa. I don't want to name it, so I'll just use its an acronym. No, I won't even do that. I'll get in trouble. And we all fall for it. And all you need to do is take all your lifetime money and turn it into something that's not real, and I will give you 30% a month in something else that's not real. And people go, that sounds like a good idea. I'll put my money in there. And then, of course, they lose all their money, and then all direct selling companies are the devil. Okay? No, folks. They don't have an office. You can't see the executive team. You can't go to a website. You can't track them down and call their client service team. They don't have email addresses. They Skype in once a month. That's it. Folks, here at DuePoint, here is the office, the bricks and mortar. Here is the executive team. You can find me any day. You saw Soso in the last 3 months. She's made herself 37,000 Rand a year with us. She says the reason she does that is because when this goes wrong, she knows where to find me. She knows where to find me. So she's willing to put her time into it. Folks, those are your sniff tests. This is not a pyramid scheme. You can look at the legislation. You'll see that quite clearly what we're doing is not a pyramid scheme. And you can take great comfort in that. You will have people, however, I've had people here who even after this discussion say to me, Brendan, no, I didn't say you're an illegal pyramid scheme. You're just a legal pyramid scheme. No, folks. We are not in any way, shape, or form a pyramid scheme here. We're a genuine organization. What we've done is created a homegrown South African solution to a South African problem. That's what we've done. And we're using the direct selling platform to assist you in doing it. That's the first one. Cut it out your minds. Don't think about it again, and don't let it be the reason why you don't become a wealth engineer this evening. The second one is, I've got a great job, a super career, and an awesome ego to attach to it. I don't want to tarnish any of those by being known as a network marketer. That would just ruin everything for me, personally. Imagine that. I'm the executive. I've founded my own business and built it to X, Y, and Z. Imagine if I tell my friends now that I'm doing this. No. I don't have time for this. I'm too important and I've got a great career. That's something that we could possibly be saying 20 years ago. These days, it doesn't matter what job you have. Whether you're the CEO or working in the mailroom, you have no certainty anymore in whether your income will still be flowing next month. Month on month, jobs are being lost in South Africa across the spectrum. Businesses are closing down. They're closing down. The mini budget that just came out 2 weeks ago, what did they do? Downgraded growth forecasts again for South Africa. Do you know what happens when we don't grow? We shrink. You're either going up or you're going down. There's no hovering. And we're going down. And if we're going down, businesses are closing, jobs are going. You can be the MD of that company, it'll be gone tomorrow. The other thing, of course, is you could be running a very successful company, but when people are losing their jobs, they can't buy anymore from your company. And your company said there's a knock-on effect. We don't have that certainty. We don't have the backup plan either. We were talking, Rob was telling you about how professional we are at collecting debt. Absolute professionals here in South Africa collecting debt. You know what we're not professionals at? Planning for the future. We're not. We don't buy insurance. I've had lots of conversations with South Africans where they'll have some funeral cover. And I'll say, well, what about life cover? No, I don't buy life cover. Well, what about your family? That's in the future. They'll sort that out by themselves. I'll be gone. That's not how you plan for the future. We don't do it very well. We get comfort in the fact that we think, hey, I'm a chartered accountant. I've got a great career ahead of me. I'm 25 years old. I've got many years ahead of me. I've got plenty of time and energy. And we don't put a backup plan in place. This is the backup plan. It's not 15 to 20 hours a week where we're going to just soak up all your time and you're going to never be able to do your primary job properly. No. This is a tool that's completely flexi time. You use it when you have free time. And instead of sitting on the couch watching TV and coming away fatter and poorer, you spend that time here, and every minute you spend here, you become wealthier. We talk about our wealth engineers. Rob was saying 55 Rand for every product payment every month when the debit order runs successfully. That means that every person that you bring to a presentation here earns you 55 Rand more per month going forward. So every time you spend 60 minutes here during a week at a presentation, you have become wealthier. What does that for you other than this? Is your employment doing that for you? Do you literally get wealthier the more time you spend at your job? Or are they paying you the same salary every month? I don't care what the salary is. It could be 100,000 Rand a month. It ain't growing month on month. But it is here. And what you do is in the background, you grow this backup plan. And if it is not this, well then what is it? What is it? So, do not let your job or the fact that you don't have any time stop you. We all have a little bit of time. The leverage power of this business means you could have a lot of time in building your backup plan with us. The third one is network marketing is embarrassing. It's for desperate and destitute people, failures in life. I find that quite fascinating. Again, it comes from a point of ignorance. It's like saying this is a pyramid scheme. I mean, when I use the word ignorance, I'm not meaning it negatively. I mean, it's just you don't know. Someone who calls this a pyramid scheme just doesn't know what a pyramid scheme is. But somebody who says that this is for the desperate and the failures of life actually has never looked at direct selling. Can I tell you, the greatest successes in direct selling have been amazing people. One of the senior partners, founding partners at DuePoint, I don't know if you know who DuePoint is, big pro. He's one of the biggest direct selling guys in the country. People don't even know. He's one of the biggest ones. He's hugely successful, multi-millionaire at DuePoint. But he's built a backup plan that's buying him a house on the Vaal and a boat in the coast. That's his backup plan that's doing that for him. This is for people who are burning with the desire to change their circumstances. That's what this is for. And the desperate and the destitute generally aren't. They're desperate. They're not burning with a desire to change the future for themselves. This business is for entrepreneurs. It's for people who are sick of having a job that is dead end. Sick of having a situation that is constantly uncertain. Sick of waking up in the morning with a poison of anxiety coursing around their veins. That's what this business is about. And that's who this business is for. It is not from. Now, the embarrassment question. I've got lots of friends, great friends of mine, very senior people, chartered accountants, lawyers, all of the good jobs, who say to me, Brennan, my name is my brand. I simply cannot do this because if it goes wrong, my brand will be ruined. I always find that quite fascinating. Their brand is not earning them any money, which is what a brand does. It earns you money. It's not earning them any money. But can I tell you what is really embarrassing? Really embarrassing is when you lose your job at age 45, 47, and you can't buy your child a car. You can't pay for your child to go to university. You have to boot them out the house and send them to work because you can't pay your own bills. What's very embarrassing is when you have to go back to your parents and ask them for money because you can't afford it and they're elderly. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. And here we are saying we don't want to do this. We don't want to make more money in a legitimate, genuine organization that's been around for 70 years, been reviewed by 4 government departments, has 7 licenses, because that's embarrassing? No. It's ignorance, again, shining through, that I'm safe in what I have. I'm good at what I do. I'll be fine. 99.5% of us will not be. Rob said it earlier. 99.5. That means black, white, Indian, colored, Asian. All of us. There's going to be a handful of folk, a handful, that are going to be ready in their retirement. The rest of us won't. So let's start working on the backup plan and stop worrying about things like embarrassment. It's not high school after all. Folks, I'm not good at selling. Awesome. absolutely awesome. I've been saying it for years and years and years in this presentation. I say there's what are the original ones? Biggest fear on earth, public speaking. Second, death. Awesome. I found out this week the top one has been replaced. It's been replaced officially. Like this is Guinness Book Records of the stuff. Officially, the top one's been replaced with spiders. People on earth are number one afraid of spiders. I can totally agree with that. I'm in that class. I'm with you. Don't want to be within 40 foot of a spider. That's great. So it's spiders, public speaking, death. Those are our three top ones. But they're all wrong. And we know this. They're all wrong. Whenever I talk to anybody, particularly white folk, my friends, they're like, no, I'm not good at selling. I'm no good at selling. And to the point that you can see them start shaking, which means that is the number one fear. People would rather be with spiders, public speak, or die than sell. That's what the number one fear is. They can't do it. Fantastic news. First of all, we have removed that from you completely. Your task is never to sell anything. I don't even want you talking about our products. You don't talk about, you would have seen Rob spend all of 30 seconds on our products. That's not what DuePoint does. DuePoint is about creating wealth and certainty. That's what we do here. The products is just the mechanism we use to create that wealth for you. We do the selling of the products. Constantia does it. DuePoint does it. We sell the products. You don't have to do any of it. Scratch that off your list. You are not selling anything. In fact, we think we're better at selling than you are, too. So we're happy for you not to sell. In fact, we contract you out of it. So there's no selling, no longer valid. You see, all of these reasons and excuses for, I'm going to say this afterwards, then I don't have to sign up. Oh, okay, I'll say that one. No. We're chopping them down. There is no reason. If you do not have a backup plan, then you have no excuse for not becoming a wealth engineer this evening. The products are not good enough, or the products are not competitive. We've had this a few times. It doesn't come up often, but we have people who insult us because we spend a lot of work working on these products, but they insult us by saying, I can get a much better personal accident cover at wherever, other insurance company. That might be true, but they don't give you all of this. And when you take out a product like that and you've got that insurance, absolutely perfect, that's fine. The only thing is it cannot create wealth for you. So yes, it might be marginally better here, marginally cheaper there, but it's not giving you this. The product is not what we're doing here. They are great products. In fact, my father helped me design them. He's been in the industry for 50 years. He wrote the textbook. I'm not joking. He wrote the textbook on insurance in South Africa. Go look him up, okay? And he says they must be crazy if they think these products aren't great. If you understand the amount of work that went into creating the Access Wealth product, just what we have in that one product alone is you can't replicate it anywhere in South Africa. We've got a UK-based asset management firm, one of the best in the world, managing the assets on a Sanlam-based platform. Do you want to know how long it took me to get that connection right? Okay? On a Sanlam-based platform. And we've got global fund administrators administrating all the administration around the fund for us. They are the only non-insurance company in the country to have their own LISP, okay, which is an investment platform. You get that for 274 Rand a month. You cannot get this anywhere else for that price. And incidentally, you can invest more on it. People often ask us, is it 100 Rand a month only? No, you can invest up to 2,500 Rand a month in terms of the legislation on tax-free investments. That's what you've got for us. They're fantastic products. We're very proud of them, and you can be proud of them. I don't ever need you to talk about them, but when people say, hey, I'm too embarrassed, or my name's my brand, you can say to them, well, you can be very proud of what you've got here. Everything we've done at DuePoint is at private bank levels. Private bank levels. The staff we have, the client service you'll get, the technology we use, even the Wi-Fi in the building is at private bank levels. We have 2 Ruckus routers in the roof here for you. A Ruckus router is the best Wi-Fi router in the country. It has over 200 individual aerials inside it, and when you walk in the room, it connects to your phone, and it moves with you around the building. So when you go to the toilet just now, it's pointing at you, and you have 3 bars on your phone. Everything has been designed at private bank level for you. There is no excuse, no barriers to entry, no reason for not creating your backup plan. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do. There's no reason for it. These businesses come and go. They do. And isn't it a shame? It is the stigma you are feeling. I don't want to do this because I've heard. It's because of this. These guys come and go. We often talk with our wealth engineers where the wealth engineers say, yeah, I used to do that one, lost 50,000 Rand there. Used to do this one, lost 86,000 Rand there. I was earning 100,000 Rand on that one, I'm not anymore. We have like our cornerstone, our foundational stone at DuePoint. When we started designing it, I said to my team, we are never going to hear at DuePoint, not ever, anyone say to us, I used to earn at DuePoint. That's never going to happen here. Now, I mean, of course, I'm not God. I can't reinforce, but that is our cornerstone. Everything we have built is to ensure that we last forever. We are 70 years old as an insurance company. We are licensed. We are under SAM 2 regulation with regard to our reserves and our capital adequacy ratios and liquidity ratios. We're backed by major partners. It's the best we can do. You're not going to find this by the Russian guy Skyping in. He's not got this here. Okay? And all the other bits and pieces that are out there that have come and gone and put into your minds that these things come and go. Well, businesses come and go. They do. 1 in 100 businesses launched every year will succeed. The other 99 will go. So I've had someone say to me, Brendan, guarantee me this is not going to end. I can't do that. We could have a huge tsunami and South Africa's gone and the business has collapsed. But we have done everything we can to make sure that this is not us. Go do the research about us. Find out about us. Look at the team. Look at the history of the company. Answer the question for yourself. Do you think we're here for 5 minutes? Look at the amount of capital we have spent here already. Was that just for fun? No. We're making Constantia 21st century. That's what we're doing. And we're spending money on it to make sure it happens. I don't know enough people. This is when we start getting desperate now, you see. So you've been here, your friend's sitting next to you right now. You're like, oh, I don't want to sign up. I don't want to sign up. I don't want to sign up. He's wiping out all my excuses. I know what? I don't know enough people. This is Rob's picture. He's like, what? Do you live in space? That's Rob's picture. You live in space, you don't know about people. Folks, everybody knows about the same number of people. That's just a statistical fact. You all know about 200 to 300 people. Go and look through your cell phone. That is a great spot. Once you have started talking to the 200 to 300 people in your cell phone, you will find that each one of them knows 200 to 300 people. Yes. Okay? I will guarantee you, you will never, ever run out of people. Now, yes, there's a finite number of people on Earth. You just don't have enough time to get to all of them. You know, so people come along and say, I did the maths on this thing. You get to infinity within 3 and it doesn't work. Nobody gets to infinity. We don't have enough time. You are going to tackle people for the rest of your life. You're going to cross the paths of people for the rest of your life. And as you do, these individuals will create wealth for you. These individuals will become part of the market penetration you create for Constantia, the channel of distribution that is 21st century for us here at DuePoint. That's what you will not run out of people. It's not a valid excuse. People only lose in these sorts of things. Yep, that's the favorite one. I'm not doing this one. I'm afraid I don't want to lose money like everybody else has. We understand that. It was very much part of our thought process and our construction plan when we made DuePoint. DuePoint is designed so that you don't lose anything. When you purchase one of our products, you get all the benefits of those products without paying a premium. That premium, that price that you pay is the same as you would if you bought it straight from Constantia. There's no extra price for being a wealth engineer. You're not losing by being a wealth engineer. You get the full benefit. On our Access Wealth, you get a tax-free investment account that is incredible, plus 100,000 rands worth of personal accident cover. You're already getting 274 rands worth a month's worth of value out of it, and 100 of it is going into the investment for you. In our Wealth Guard product, 249 rand, you get 1 million rands worth of personal accident cover. You've lost nothing by buying that product. In our Wealth Points program, 249 rand a month, of which 100 rands immediately changed into our Wealth Points or vouchers for you, and you get to use that to reduce the expenditure in your household. You've lost nothing. There is no, give me 10,000 rand, invest it now, find 5 other people to put 10,000 rand in, and I'll give you 20,000 rand back. There's none of that. That's where people lose. There's none of, listen, here's the starter kit. It's 4,000 rand, and it's $165 a month membership fee. That's where you are bleeding money. None of that exists here. No membership fee, no startup cost. Free benefit of a Constantia product is you get to get all of this. And you get to get this tool that you start creating certainty and future wealth with. You build an asset that pays you even when you're sleeping. That's what you're doing. There is no risk in the decision to become a wealth engineer. And I mean, we're big actors and we're all flamboyant. I don't want to be flamboyant on this fact. I want us to know that 99% of us who are in the employment space are building nothing. We're building nothing for ourselves. When you stop working, you get old, you retire, you get retrenched, you get fired, the money stops. The money stops. How long will we come up with excuses for? How long? Because here, the work you put in creates lifetime income. It is an asset. It's an engine that produces wealth for you. You just have to choose to do it. You have to step out of the box that you've only ever known. And that's the problem. We are stuck in boxes. Your mom said, get a good job or start your own business. And that was it. The walls went up and you can't hear anything else. Folks, that's not the case for South Africa anymore. We have to start climbing out of the box. No one's coming to our rescue. I don't know if you've noticed. In fact, they're dragging us down. That's what they're doing. They're just dragging us down. We have to start rescuing ourselves now. And we're not going to be able to do it with a great career or a big business. Not in the economies that we have. Not with the legislation we have. Not with what's happening in the world today. We have to start getting out of the boxes. That's the step that has to be taken. And tonight we say to you, you can make that step without the risk of loss. That's what we're saying. You can make that step. Don't walk out of here tonight and go, nah, I need to go think about it some more. What are you going to think about more? Everything has been laid out for you. This is a completely sunshine company, open cards. You will find no more detail anywhere. You can go to our website, it's got everything there, but you won't find anything new there that you didn't hear this evening. You've got to start making these decisions. And it's got to start now. 5 years from now, everything could be different. Everything. You could have a backup plan where you don't need 10 million rand in the bank to retire with. You've got the backup plan. How long will you let these things stop you changing your future? Folks, those are the 8 most common reasons why people don't want to do DuePoint. It's why they don't want to do any direct selling. I don't believe they're valid. I want them scratched out of your heads. If you've got another one, come and tell me. All of us can answer everything. Because this is genuine, because we know what we're doing, we can help build your confidence and your skills in doing this successfully. So, it's decision time. You've heard Rob, you've heard me. If you come more often, you'll hear lots of other speakers, all telling you the same thing from different corners of the market. Tonight, we want you to make the right decision. If you choose not to do this, it's an absolutely legitimate decision. Just make sure you are planning for the future, the uncertainty that we live in. If you go, I need this, I need a backup plan, and I need to start working on it, to become a wealth engineer, super, super simple. Simply go and fill out the application form, and you will be SMS'd a W number, and your channel will be born. You will not go into the pyramid structure, and someone pops out the top as you come in at the bottom. This is your channel that will be born tonight. And from that channel, from that W number, your channel will grow. It'll cost you nothing. There'll be no credit card details put in or cards swiped this evening. You'll simply become a wealth engineer this evening. Then I want you to sit down with the person who brought you here this evening, and I mean this quite earnestly. Tell them what you want. 10 grand a month, 50 grand a month, 100 grand a month. Tell them what you want. And work out a plan using the Dewpoint system to get there. Without those 2 things, 5 years from now, you'll be in exactly the same position you're in now, maybe even worse. But if you've got a goal and a plan, 5 years from now, everything could be different. Absolutely everything. Folks, as Rob was telling you, in our XP Rewards program, our training program, we run monthly training challenges. We call them Wealth Quests. They're different every month. They have different criteria that if you fulfill, you are rewarded with things. iPads, iPhones, TVs, cash, all the things you need to build your channel with. We use them to help you construct your channel successfully. Guys, we're 3 days in. This one's a doozy. It's easy. Geez, it's the Christmas present from DuePoint. I expect all of you to have achieved it, wealth engineers. Get out there and start doing it, and you'll be rewarded for Christmas this year with a new iPad of your own. Come on. Okay? 1 month's worth of work. Are you kidding me? Let's do this. Folks, we have our own YouTube channel. It's called DuePoint channel. Just search it on YouTube. We have hundreds of videos there. If you become a wealth engineer, I want you to go there and subscribe. We upload videos all the time. Everything you need is there. Make sure you're on it. We also have our own free app that plugs you straight into your channel. If it's on your phone or your iPad, anywhere you are, on an aeroplane, on the other side of the world, you can plug into your channel, see what's going on real time. Real time. You've got your training videos on there and all your personal details with us there too, that you can chop, change, amend, everything. Statements, tax certificates, all on the iPad. All on the application on your phone or iPad. It's there for you. It's free. Download it tonight. Connect into your channel. Folks, thank you very much for spending this time with us this evening. We hope we've opened your eyes to something new, to something that's going to change your future. We are determined to be impacting the South African economy with DuePoint. We're determined to do it. You will see the passion in the team as we push forward. We want you to be part of it. Do not shrug this off, thinking it's something you've heard of. It's not. This is homegrown South African DuePoint 21st century stuff. I look forward to meeting you outside. Come and get your questions answered by us. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for the guys live streaming.